Hi again then guys, and welcome to, of course, another tune setup, a circuit setup in particular for GT Sport, this time obviously for another car from the 1.31 patch, the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Now this car I've left in a lower category, N200 in fact, and although it is more powerful than stock, the reason why I've left it low is because a car like this, especially in a game with such broad, wide open categories as the N classes are, doesn't really stand much of a chance once you get into the higher classes because of stuff like Porsches, various other OP vehicles, the NSX for instance. Even in N200 it's not the fastest thing out there, but at least you can get some decent use out of it. Now, as far as said upgrades, I've dropped the weight as far as it can go, and of course this is all subject to balance of performance anyway, but as far as the power, I've gone to 111%, so the peak of N200. Traction control you really don't need on this car, it's very easy to drive. We've got it on sport softs. Of course racing tyres are better, but you sometimes might not be able or allowed to use racing tyres, so if you build it for sports tyres, then you already know it's going to be good, and racing tyres will be even better. As far as the suspension, we've got the ride height as low as possible on the front and the back, get that centre of gravity nice and low, reduce the body roll as well in conjunction with the springs and the dampers. Speaking of said springs, we've got the frequency on 1.9. Then as far as the anti-roll, 7 and 6. For the dampers on the compression, we've got 63, 91 for the rebound, neutral camber, neutral toe. As far as the diff, I've opted for the lowest on all three. And then finally for the gearbox, I'd recommend the fully customised transmission. Of course you want that in a muscle car, gives you so much more to work with, really loosens up the top end ability as well to actually get good top speed out of it. I'd recommend an auto setting of 130 miles per hour. Then for the individual gears, 2450 for first, 1775, 1.4, then fourth gear and fifth gear are, as you can see, all the way to the left to give you a good mix of acceleration and top end speed as well, at least for an N200 car. And then for the final drive we've got 3.23. So that's it for the tune. Now of course, as we always do, we'll take it out to our test course of choice at Dragon Trail to see what kind of lap times it can do. Now for a car which in its stock form is so big and heavy and wallowy and underpowered, the Trans Am has a ton of responsiveness to tuning. It does in GT6 and it does in different ways in GT Sport. In GT6 it was fantastic in a straight line, whereas now it's really good through corners. Now unfortunately, but not too surprisingly for a muscle car that doesn't have all that much power, it doesn't exactly dominate on the straights. But ironically, if you take this on a really tight technical circuit, that's where you might actually see the best results. Whereas on more open tracks, then stuff like the NSX has more of a straight line advantage because it's running close to what it was originally designed to have in terms of power. So if you do decide to use this, you can definitely win races. If you want to increase the power, you can, by all means. You could take it to N3, N4, even higher if you wanted to, and it will still give you that good basis of handling to work with. So by all means, try out different things. If you are a Trans Am fan, I'd recommend giving it a go. And of course, if you want to check out all of my other tunes, you can click here on screen to see those. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.